Okay, let's just dive right in. We have a pretty big stack of breaking NBA news to get
I
through.
really do.
We've got franchise instability that's just boiling over. We have club legends finally speaking some painful truth. And
Yeah.
then there's this major kind of confusing power check happening at the top of the Western Conference.
That's a perfect way to put it, because when you look at these sources, I mean, these aren't just minor stories. They feel like real inflection points for these
Yeah.
teams. We're looking at the consequences of some really poor decision-making, and then on the other side, what true, sustained excellence actually looks like.
So our mission for you today is pretty clear. We're going to unpack the accountability that finally, and I mean painfully, arrived in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get into the brutal honesty from a Mavericks legend, try to figure out if that massive Lakers blowout is for real, and then confirm the continued, almost scary dominance of the reigning champs.
Let's do it.
So we have to start in New Orleans. The axe finally fell. Willie Green is out as head coach.
Yep, it happened.
And the numbers, they're just brutal. 210 to start the season, overall record under 45% is a miserable start. But was this just about a few bad box scores?
Well, that's what's so fascinating. The sources, they all pretty much say the same thing.
Yeah.
The losses were just a symptom.
Not the root cause.
Exactly. This move was inevitable and, frankly, probably overdue.
Overdue.
Oh, yeah. I mean, sure, they were getting blown out 3 losses by 30 or more points already, but the decision wasn't really sealed until that Friday night loss to the Lakers.
Okay, so what was it about that specific game? What was the moment?
It was the body language. And this is the key insight for anyone running an organization, really.
The body language.
Yeah, the sources were citing some of the worst body language they'd ever seen. They said players were, and this is a quote, openly quitting on the head coach.
Wow.
And when you get to that point, when the staff has completely lost the room and everyone can see it, it's not about X's and O's anymore.
It's about control.
It's about control. You just can't get that authority back.
Okay, so if it was that obvious, and Green was in the last year of his contract, a classic lame duck, why did Joe Dumars wait 12 games?
Right.
That delay feels like a failure at the executive level, doesn't it?
It absolutely calls their competence into question. By waiting until mid-November, they just wasted so much.
Like what? What did they waste?
The sources are really specific here. They point out 2 crucial practice days and 2 shoot-arounds, all during a homestand. That's precious time the interim coach could have used to start putting his own system in. The delay just, it suggests a real lack of decisiveness, a lack of urgency.
So James Borrego steps in as the interim. He was on staff, interviewed for the Knicks and Nuggets jobs, but stayed. What's the plan now?
Well, he's got prior head coaching experience, which helps a lot.
Yeah.
But the bigger story here is the franchise's track record. It's just a history of poor process.
Right.
I mean, the sources remind us that Dumars himself was hired really fast. No formal interview process for anyone else.
Yeah.
So now they have to show they can actually run a competent search for the next long-term coach. Someone who can demand accountability from their high-priced stars.
Let's pivot to Dallas, where things got a lot hotter, thanks to a club legend.
Yeah, this was big.
Dirk Nowitzki gave this incredibly frank, honest interview on Prime about the recent decision-making, especially around building a team around Luka Doncic.
And Dirk's comments, they basically confirmed what so many fans were already feeling. He talked about the firing of the previous front office.
Yeah.
And he said, quote, "It should have probably happened this summer, honestly."
Wow.
He said you didn't want that negative energy and black cloud hanging over this new era. It was just a clear sign that things had gotten toxic.
And this is where it goes from just executive turmoil to like real fan heartbreak, right? He directly criticized the big trades.
He did.
The ones that were supposed to be the centerpiece moves with Luka. He said they made absolutely no sense, and then he said fans got robbed.
And that statement is just monumental. It validates years of frustration for that fan base. Dirk basically confirmed that the whole process under the old regime was a failure. The big moves that were supposed to help Luka, they all ended up with bad returns and no flexibility.
So that feeling of being robbed.
It comes from knowing the process itself was just flawed from the start. And hearing a legend like Dirk say it out loud so bluntly, he's just powerful. It confirms the painful reality they've been living.
Okay, let's shift gears to the court. We got to talk about this Western power check.
Yeah, things are getting interesting.
First up, the Lakers. They had this shocking 111-95 blowout win over the Milwaukee Bucks.
And what made it so jaw-dropping was just how short-handed they were.
Right, no LeBron, no Hachimura, no Smart, no Vincent.
And it was the second night of a back-to-back.
So, how did this happen?
This is where it gets complicated. It was just an outlier performance, really, driven by pure defensive force.
How so?
They held the Bucks to 34 points in the first half.
34.
Yeah, the sources noted it was their best defensive half since January of 2021. So this isn't just a win. It's about them showing they can completely lock down an elite offense.
And on offense, it was just spectacular individual efforts. Luka Doncic dropped 41, got to the line 20 times.
But the real story, like you said on defense, was Deandre Ayton.
He was everywhere.
Absolutely. He had 20 points, 10 boards, but his defense on Giannis was described as terrific. He used his length, he stayed disciplined, he didn't foul. When they defend like that, they look like a championship team. The question is, why can't they do it consistently?
And that's the core question, isn't it? They're 10-4, fourth in the West. Is this team actually a good, or is this just a motivated outlier performance? I mean, they destroyed a title contender without their best player. Shouldn't that push them into that top tier?
You'd think so, but the analysis, it still suggests they are, let's say, a step below the top two.
Denver and OKC.
Denver and OKC. While they show that championship potential, they just lack the consistent defensive execution you need over an 82-game season.
So the baseline is still shaky.
It's too inconsistent. The sources basically say one massive win against a Bucks team that was struggling, even a shorthanded win, it doesn't erase the defensive lapses we've seen in other games. They just don't have the structure to sustain that elite effort night after night.
And that's what separates them.
That's what separates them from the true contenders.
Well, speaking of those contenders, let's look at one of the teams they're chasing, the Denver Nuggets.
Okay.
They just delivered a statement win, 123-112 over Minnesota. They're 10-2 on a 7-game winning streak. They look terrifying.
They look like the real deal. And the best part is, it feels so sustainable.
How so?
Well, Nikola Jokic is just operating at this insane level of efficiency. 19 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists.
Yeah.
It's almost a triple-double, and it looks like he's not even breaking a sweat.
And Murray in the pick and roll.
Masterful. But the real key, the development this year, is the role players. Tim Hardaway Jr. led the team in scoring in that game. He's being called an unconscious shooter who just fits perfectly with Jokic.
But the old Achilles heel for the Nuggets was always those non-Jokic minutes, right?
Yeah.
The second unit comes in, the lead just vanishes.
Right, that was always the knock on them.
Have they actually solved that problem this year?
They absolutely have, and that is why they are an undeniable top-tier contender right now. The impact from their bench has been huge. The sources are highlighting how their front-court acquisitions have paid off. Specifically, Jonas Valanciunas has been critical.
In what way?
He comes in early fourth quarter and actually helps extend leads. He anchors the team when Jokic is on the bench resting.
It's a game changer.
It's a total game changer.
Yeah.
That depth and cohesion means their dominance is sustainable. They're an overwhelming force, even when their best player is catching his breath.
So, what a lot of movement in just a few days. Let's recap this. Accountability finally came to New Orleans, even if it was late. It was driven by a toxic locker room. Dirk Nowitzki validates years of fan anger in Dallas, confirming a disastrous process in their past.
Yeah.
The Lakers show us these, breathtaking flashes of elite play, but the questions about their defensive consistency are still there. And the Nuggets, they just continue their title defense looking deeper and stronger than ever.
So if you connect all these dots, the bigger picture question you have to ask yourself is this.
Yeah.
When we see established organizations like the Pelicans and the Mavericks making these late reactive moves, moves that really just reflect a poor process from years before,
Right.
what does that signal about the actual standards for executive leadership across the league? It suggests that accountability is often retroactive, not proactive. And that should probably raise an eyebrow for any fan.
Thank you for listening. Please comment, like, subscribe if you're on YouTube. Spotify, please leave a 5-star review. It will help the channel grow. Until next time, please check out previous episodes.